Welcome back to the 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show. My name is Wayne Kimmel, managing partner of 76 Capital, the sports tech venture capital company. And on this show, I get the opportunity to interview top sports entrepreneurs, athletes, and executives who are shaping and many times changing the overall sports landscape. You can subscribe to our show on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on our 76 Capital website. Today, I'm really excited. I've got a great guest on our show today. It's former St. Joe's and Michigan's basketball coach, Phil Martelli. So many of you know Phil, have loved Phil, and just is so great to have you back on the show, Phil. So welcome back to our 76 Capital Sports
I
Leadership
really
Show.
appreciate it. Thank you to you and everybody at 76 Capital. It's an honor to be with you.
It's great to have you back on the show. I remember a couple of years ago, I had you on the show. It was you and Phil Jr. and it was a Father's Day edition that we did.
Yeah. He's doing great. Started practice. He's the head coach at Bryant in Rhode Island and started practice. He has a son now in high school who I think in the next couple of days is going to have his first open gym as a high school player. Excited about that. Daughter in 7th grade and a son in 1st grade. And what they are, Wayne, is a lot like you. They're very, very, very passionate Phillies fans and Eagles fans and Sixers fans. And right now we are all getting engaged for Red October.
Absolutely. I mean, now that the Phillies are it's time to root for the Phillies here in Philly. No doubt about it. I'd love to talk a little bit about, going back to kind of what brought you into coaching. What kind of was the thing that made you want to coach and so so how you kind of followed your passion into that industry.
Wow. That's a great question. And it's not a fairy tale. It's not a made up story. But when I was 12 and 13 and 14 years old, I played for 3 guys in Delaware County at St. Philomena's in Lansdowne. One was John Steele, who was the postman in the neighborhood. One was Tom Gallagher, a banker. And the third was Pete O'Keefe, who was a politician. And I had come to Lansdowne from Southwest Philly. In Southwest Philly, I was basically a playground rat, and I say that affectionately. If it was football, you played football, and if it was snow on the ground, you played tackle in the street and with the snow. When it got warmer and the fields thawed out, you played baseball. And in the winter, if you were lucky enough to get into a gym, then you played basketball. You played outdoor basketball, sometimes in the fall. When I moved to Lansdowne, this game of basketball just got into my blood. And these 3 guys were the CYO coaches. We practiced. We had a plan for practice. We had a really, really, really good team. And I just can remember thinking, this is really cool. Coaching is really a cool thing. Now, I thought at that time, you dressed up in a suit and you ran up and down the sideline and yelled at the officials. And thank God I got dumber and more aware of all that this can be. So from the 9th grade on, I would tell people that I wanted to coach. At that point, Wayne, I thought it was coach in high school, teach. I was very, very smitten by history. So I wanted to be a history teacher and a high school basketball coach, and kind of emulating the guys that I had played against when I was a player at St. Joe Prep. And so every summer I would go and I would work with younger kids in a summer league. I would go to camps, try to learn more about the game and the networking that went into the game. And by the time that I had finished school at Widener, it was all that I've ever wanted to do. I just every decision that I made around the rest of my life, like where I would teach when I first got out of school, buying a bar, and not understanding anything about the finances of that, and taking loans, and summer vacations became summer camps. This game got me because it does not discriminate. I don't believe the game it doesn't matter to the game if you're black or white or rich or poor, or whether you're from the city or the suburbs. Doesn't matter if you're from Philadelphia or Ann Arbor, Michigan. It's a game that you can always find a game, and you can always grow the game by your involvement. And that's long-winded. That's exactly when I decided to start in the 7th grade.
So from the seventh grade, wanting to do this, then to become the head coach at St. Joe's for over 24 years, what was that experience like?
Numbing, to be honest with you. I would say to you, every day that I got to walk on the floor at the Palestra, which is the best building in college basketball, every day that I walked on that floor, in my head were the names of Jack Ramsey and Harry Litwack and Jim Lynam and Jack Kraft and Rolly Massimino. And to say, you know what, somewhere in those stands, someone watching our practice or someone at one of our games is the next Phil Martelli. And I don't say that egotistically, but there's a young kid that watched those games that has the same dream. And what I prayed for was that they would get that opportunity, that they would be able to walk in the steps and in the shadows of the greats that I was able to do. To do this in Philadelphia in front of my family and friends for so long, 34 years, plus the 6 years as a high school coach, 7 years as a high school coach. So for more than half my life, I've been able to do this in the city where I grew up, where I had so many family and friends. It's no other word. It was numbing, and it was a tremendous responsibility that I always accepted. That I was representing. I was representing much more than myself and my family name. I was representing dreams do come true.
Well, I think you talk about, your legacy and the legacy that you were able to create, and the types of experiences that you were able to give, not only to the players and that played for you, but also from a coaching perspective. And certainly one of those is mentioned earlier, both of your sons, right, who coach. And then just your whole coaching tree. Maybe talk a little bit about some of the different people that coached with you that now are on doing their own thing.
Well, Wayne, it brings a smile to my face to think of those names, and I go all the way back to my time as the head coach at Bishop Kenrick High School, and a graduate of Bishop Kenrick. I asked him to join my staff, and he worked with me for a couple years, and we were together. Neither of us had children, so we were together 350 days a year, just planning this basketball program and working and trying to develop players, and that would be Gino Auriemma. So I go all the way back with Gino, and then when I came to St. Joseph's, and I worked with Jimmy Black, legendary player that you remembered from North Carolina, playing in the backcourt with Michael Jordan, and then moving forward and having a chance to work with Jim Boyle and John Griffin, and to consider them very, 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 very dear friends. But then the people that worked with me, Monte Ross, head coach, and Matt Brady went on to be a head coach, and my sons Philip and Jimmy, Dave Duda, Jeff Arnold, Mark Bass, all these guys. It was much more than they worked for me. We all worked for St. Joseph's University, but to work with them, and then to have the opportunity to go to Michigan and work with Sadi Washington, who will be a Division I head coach, and Howard Isley, who could well end up being a head coach in the NBA, and Juwan Howard with his background and profile and legacy. It is already really, Wayne, to your point, it's about the people, right? It's not about the titles. And to be able to call all those guys my friends, my dear friends, and to celebrate their successes, it has been a great, great joy in my career.
Well, and we talked about the coaches. What about some of the players and some of the people that, everyone, at least in the Philadelphia area, associates you with Jameer Nelson and the amazing growth as a player now, and then an NBA player, and now what he's doing with on the NBA side as an executive. You must be so proud of what he's doing.
Well, I really am, and I give so much credit to his parents, the late Pete and Linda. They just did a magnificent job. And for all parents out there, Wayne, they loved Jameer. They didn't love Jameer the player; they loved Jameer. And more, our young people need to be loved and not liked, and not favored because of this. They have a particular skill. He was touched. I mean, he was touched from above with the ability to not just play basketball, but to lead and to do it in a way that. And I'm not quite sure how he did it, because Wayne, you know it. You've risen to the top. Everybody at 76 Capital, you've risen to the top. So people want to take shots at you. They could be unwarranted. I don't know anybody that doesn't like/love Jameer Nelson. And it's the person. I had to share this story with you. I've been out doing some speaking, and I spoke at the Pendelco School District. And after the talk, an art teacher came up to me, and she said, I taught Jameer Nelson in art in Chester when he was 12 years old. And she said at 12 years old, he kept telling everybody he was going to play in the NBA. And I suggested to him that he have a plan B in case the NBA didn't work out. And she said, I guess I was wrong there. And I said, no, you were exactly right. Because the plan B was to make himself the very best person he could be. He played basketball. That's not who he is. He's an executive now in the G League. That's what he does. Who he is as fine a human being as I've ever been around, and a great, great, great teacher. And most importantly, an unbelievable father.
Yeah, it's amazing to hear that. I mean, and when he was younger, and you first probably laid eyes on him, and probably on some court in Chester, I'm guessing. But what was it about him? I mean, was there something that you and your staff were like, we want this guy?
That's a great story, Wayne. I was Fred Pickett, who was Jameer's high school coach, dear friend of mine, kept telling me about this 10th grader. He said, I have a 10th grader who's a game changer. And I would say to him, okay, well, I'll get there, Fred. I'll get there, Fred. In the back of my mind, the idea of Chester, like you and I both know, if we drove down to Chester, we could go to every corner, and there was a great player on every corner in Chester. And for him to be described as one of the greatest ever out of Chester piqued my interest. I was getting ready to leave the office one day. Matt Brady and Monte were in there. I said, listen, I'm going over to the District 1 championship game at Villanova. I want to see this little kid from Chester. And they both looked at me and said, he's too small. You're not gonna like him. And I went over to Villanova, and they were playing in a District 1 championship game. And I was mesmerized the whole first half. Jameer Nelson took no shots in the first half. He scored 1 point in the first half of that game. He dominated the game, because from the neck up, I had never seen anything like that for a high school player. And it was almost, Wayne, like almost mystical that there was a bubble following him around, because maybe there's 6,000 or 7,000 people, but it was him in the game of basketball. And what he was playing was at the highest of high levels. And I always joke now, because I didn't have a cell phone at the time, but if I had a cell phone, I would have called Matt and I would have called Monte and said, do you think this kid from Chester's too small? And if they had answered yes, they would have been fired on the spot, Wayne, because my first view was that if we could get him to come to St. Joseph's, I thought that he would be the greatest guard to ever play in the history, and that unbelievable history at St. Joseph's. I thought he would be the greatest guard to ever play at St. Joseph's.
What a story. What an amazing story. You think of, you think back to those days, that the amazing run that you and Jameer and that team had, and it's just, you think of like how basketball was, and college basketball was being played. Now, here we are in 2024, and basketball is being played similarly, in a way. Certainly, the 3-point shot and all that kind of stuff on the court is changed the game a lot, but the business side of sports has changed immensely. How did you transition from the way it was to the way it is today?
That's a really, really tough question, because I would actually extend this thought, Wayne. I chose not to. I chose not to. I believe to this day, yes, the NIL is here to stay, and it's going to evolve. You and I would maybe agree that it's going to evolve to pay for play. They're going to change some of these programs, and it's going to become like the club system in Europe, would be my opinion. Not everybody can afford to do that. Not everybody will do that. And that's all right. You'll still compete for championships. In my bones, in the deepest part of my heart, I believe this. We in basketball can still do this, build on trust. And I would bring it out to young players. And as you transition, I don't think that values have to transition. Yes, it's a different game. And yes, there's a monetary aspect to this game, and there's a deal to be made. But if we could get back to, or if a coach moving forward can say, let me ask you a question, Wayne. Would you like to pursue your college degree? Now, college degree isn't for everybody. Would you like to pursue your college degree? Would you like to pursue your college degree even if you leave school and go on to a successful professional career? So you're going to answer a certain way. Would you like to improve in the game of basketball? Because if you were all that, you would already be going to that next league, the best league in the world. So would you like to improve? Most people are going to answer yes. Would you like to be surrounded by like-minded people? Not the same people, but like-minded, and that they want to improve? Yes. Would you like to pursue championships? Yes. Okay. So do you trust me that I can get you there? We wouldn't be having this meeting. Your family, your advisor, your summer coach, your high school coach, somebody trusts that I can, and my school can do the best we can for you. Okay. So I trust that you believe that. And I trust that you can bring us championships, because there's a lot of sacrifices that go into this. We would like to win championships. We'd like to pursue championships. Okay. So now we have mutual trust. The final piece of this is, do you trust me that I'm going to get you every single dollar that I can get you? If the most I can get you is $5, I'm not going to give you $4.90. Do I have do you trust me? Or, and I wouldn't present this because this is presenting a negative. Do you already have a dollar figure in mind? Well, I need to make $20,000. Okay, Wayne, if that's what's priority to you, and not the trust that I'm going to help you pursue your degree, I'm going to make you a better player, I'm going to surround you with like-minded people, we're going to pursue championships, you trust me that I'm going to get you every nickel that I can get you. If $20,000 outweighs all those other things, then Wayne, I'm going to wish you luck. I'm never going to turn my back on you. If I can help you, I'll be glad to help you. But you know what? In my mind, I'm saying you may not be that program changer. I'm going to go to Steve. because Steve, maybe he's ranked 135 in the country. You're ranked 85 in the country. But how do they know? How does anybody know what's the difference between an 85th player and a 135 player? And I believe you can build a roster based on trust. Now, part of that trust is, Wayne, you the player, I am going to take care of you. It's all legal now, so I'm going to take care of you. And if I had the opportunity, that's the way I would pursue it. So when people say, "Did you adjust?" I never traded in on my values, and I never traded in on my foundations. My foundations were respect, communication, daily improvement. And it wasn't dollars, job opportunity. It just couldn't be that way for me.
Well, it's really interesting to hear you describe that, and especially with now what you're doing with Make a Difference and your whole philosophy. It seems to me like you are more about the person and their life, not just the 4 years at the university. It's like, I will make you and want to make you a better person for the rest of your life, so that you can be a better person, or a better person in the community, and that you yourself could make a difference and do some things that will actually help others. And I think that's where in today's world, a lot of kids and parents and coaches, it's all about today, this 1 year, this one season. I think you take a much longer view.
Yeah, the idea, I'm not a cliche dude, but transactional over transformational. And transactions, at the end of the day, whenever that is, 5 years and 10 years, 20 years, the transaction will be forgotten, but the transformation will not. So when people say, well, when you left Philadelphia, did you feel like you left? Like, no, because I took my memories and I took my relationships. When I was coming back, not that I was ever gone, but when I came back to Philadelphia, I sat down and said, what is it? What is it? If it's not a locker room, there's more here. And would I like to do TV? And will I do some TV? Yes. Would I like to see my sons coach? Yes. Would I like to see my grandson play in high school? Yes. All those things are yes, 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 yes. Would I like to golf 6 days a week? No, Wayne, I'm not very good at that. So that was not what interested me. What interested me when I sat back quietly was, how could I make a difference? How could I walk into 76 Capital and make a difference to one person there? But your point, how can I walk into Pendelco School District? How can I walk into Montgomery County Intermediate Unit? How can I stay engaged with Coaches versus Cancer? And what is it that I want to do? And what I want to do is make a difference. So when I speak, and the program that I built out is, I want one person in that audience for me to make a difference to them. Maybe they're having a down day. Maybe they're questioning what they're doing. Maybe they just need a theme that will lift them up. But then I want them to take it, and I want them to go make a difference. So if I'm talking to a high school student body, I want a kid in that class to say, you know what? I noticed my classmate is struggling a little bit. I can make a difference. How? How about if you just say hello? How about if you just greeted somebody? How about if you invited them to sit at your lunch table? So the idea of corporate talks, not banquet talks, not yuck it up talks, but talks and presentations that could make that will, not can, will make a difference, and make a difference for that one person, but then have them ripple it out and say, I can make a difference. And I'm what I've done so far, Wayne, has been a kind of a thimble, a thimble's worth. I'm excited to do a lake's worth of work in this area, in our school districts, in corporate. And I have found that the ones that I've given, the ones where I've presented, I come out of that, Wayne, feeling as tired as I did after any game that I ever coached. That's how much I want to put into, that's how much I am and will continue to put into the preparation, the pre-talks, the preparation for that, and then the wrap up to make sure that I hit my goal. One person, one talk at a time.
I've looked at the different themes across Make a Difference, and I mean, I could talk about all of them all day, and I really appreciate and really, I love some of the different ones, the value of real relationships, the need to be organized, the daily need to learn and to teach. And, one that I just think about all the time, and it's something that was, fortunately was taught to me by my parents, was the power of thank you.
Oh,
Is just such a big, big deal.
I think it's the most powerful statement in the English language. And the beauty of it, Wayne, is no matter where you are in life, you woke up and put thank you in your pocket. So the truck driver on 95, the Phillies player who's maybe just getting back from celebrating their NL East championship, or the fans that were there, the second grader, the power of thank you is given to each of us every single day. And it's then our responsibility to give it away, because none of us are here alone. None of us got where we are alone. So I would just ask a school child out there, who drove you to school today? Oh, the bus driver. Would you turn around and say thank you when you got off the bus? You walked into a clean building. Just take a moment and thank the maintenance, the janitors, teachers. Think about all these heroes, Wayne, that go into our schools, right? They didn't go in there alone. Many of them are parents themselves, so they dropped their son or daughter off at daycare, or a grandparent came over to babysit so that they could go help other young people. And just a thank you. And I know we all get busy and we all get tired, but to think about that, the most powerful statement in the English language is it's gifted to each of us every single day. And it can't be overused. We could overuse money, and we could overuse talking, and we could there's all kinds of stuff. But thank you, it's equally as powerful the next time. So anybody out there, I'm begging you, there's somebody in your mind and in your heart, and there are stories around it. I've had two really life-changing experiences around it, and I like sharing those stories. And I beg people to do this. Find that person today that you owe a thank you to, and when you do, look them in the eye. Look them dead in the eye, because the eyes tell you what's in the heart. And then once you've delivered your thank you, step back and watch them go through their day, because they're going to do it. Anybody that you thank today, Wayne, is going to go thank someone else. And then we have this, for lack of a cliche, attitude of gratitude being spread. Don't we become better families? Don't we become better communities? Don't we become better schools? Don't we become better corporations when people know, you know what, I am appreciated? And that's what thank you is. I just appreciate you. Like, I thank you, Wayne, for including me in this podcast. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thanks for being here. And is there someone in your career that you want to thank, or you have, or someone that you have thanked because you are who you are because of either that person or those persons?
Oh, there's no question. When I say to people, the best teachers and the best coaches that I've ever been around were my parents. And I don't know that I thanked them before they passed on, but how I live my life is, I hope, a reflection on them, and then in the afterlife they are being thanked for that, because my parents taught me respect from day one, and respect did not come from color of your skin, didn't come from your W-2, didn't come from what you drove, didn't come from your GPA. Each and every person out there deserves to be respected, and then they can pass that on. But don't expect respect because you're the coach or you're the CEO, or no, give it and then you'll get it. And if we can build up our communities and our city on that basic, every person deserves respect, no matter what their station in life is. That how I'm living and the messages that I'm delivering are a somewhat mystical thank you to my parents.
That's amazing. That's amazing. When you think about, your overall career, what you're doing now with Make a Difference, and how you're going to be working, and are working with schools and young people and professionals all across the country at different corporations. What's your favorite part of the day? Like, what's the favorite part of the day that you get excited for when you're about to, whether it's giving one of these talks or going out? And now, I hope to see you on TV. I mean, we deserve to see more of you and hear your thoughts on what's going on the game. But what do you love the most?
I love interactions, Wayne. And if somebody was to say you're May 1st and 4 or 5 months into this retirement from coaching, what I miss the most are the interactions. That's what I look forward to the most. I look forward to the talk with a former manager. I had an opportunity recently to go to a charity golf outing, not the golf, and was told while I was there that 4 of my high school players were on the course. And I drove out to see them and had a picture taken with them, and to just catch up, to just say, and I don't mean this egotistically, people know what I'm doing and they know what I've been doing because it was a public figure. But to catch up and find out so-and-so's daughter's coaching high school, and this guy's son got married, and his teammates were there, the interaction. And so the days I get antsy are the days when I'm just coming in and I'm sitting in my office at home, and I might be writing my next talk or working through the computer to answer things. What I value, I cherish the interactions, and will always continue, because I've always been about the people, not Wayne. You've never, ever asked me, in all the conversations that we had over a lifetime here, you've never, ever asked me about X's and O's. And I'm delighted for that, because I much prefer to know Wayne and that Wayne knows Phil than, oh, yeah, well, you should see I have the best zone offense in the country. Who gives a darn about that? But can we have a real relationship? That's what drives me. Every day, the interactions drive me.
Well, certainly that's what it's all about. And that's what Make a Difference is all about. And I'm really excited for you and for all the different things that you're doing with Make a Difference in that program. And I wish you a ton of luck with that. Again, we do want to hear your X's and O's. We want to hear who will be the best team this year in college basketball. And but you never know now, right? You won't know for a while.
No, earlier you had mentioned that, and the idea of, I will follow Monte Ross's team, and I will passionately follow my son's team, both at Penn State and at Bryant. And everything that I'm doing, I guess the umbrella P&J Enterprise Make a Difference campaign. I'm building that schedule, Wayne, around the opportunity to see all these people play college basketball, and I'll watch with interest the players, the Michigan program, and the players that were left there. And Hunter Dickinson obviously could be Player of the Year in the country, and I'll follow him. And so many, not just friends, but acquaintances, but real friends that I have in the college game. I'm going to watch and as I'm preparing, hopefully for at least a game a week on TV. But yeah, this is really special. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And again, I wish you a ton of luck on everything this season. We're excited. It's going to be, I think, another super exciting college basketball season. It always is. There's always twists and turns and new stories and new heroes and new types of superstars that are coming up every year. And it's always a great thing. So thank you so much for taking the time and for joining us on our 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show.
It was my honor to be with you, Wayne. Thank you.